Hello ET207 students, this is video number 2, personally selfish video number 2 from me here, your instructor, just giving you some tips and tricks here as you're moving forward out of the sketching world into kind of the 3D world. I'm going to draw something real simple for you, kind of just make sure you're confident with the feature manager on the left hand side and understanding the associativity that is in there, the parent-child relationships, the ability to right-click on a sketch and edit it, the ability to right-click on a feature and edit it, and so on and so forth. And I'm wanting you to understand how to break things down piece by piece, so that each assignment can really be just divided up into little pieces and making every assignment easier for you. Couple things to keep in mind: those that are installing software, make sure you are installing the 2023 version. I always recommend doing all assignments on campus in a lab rather than on a laptop or something. Especially, you need a 3-button mouse. You need a really good place to store your files. You need to file a really good file management strategy, and that's imperative, especially when you start getting into the project. I also want people to already start thinking about the project. If you have some time each week, start thinking about building a couple of parts that are going to be part of your project that's going to be coming for the semester. Look at that project proposal. It's already published. And then finally, always look to the discussions area of Canvas. I typically will have like videos like this and any additional helpful things over in that discussions area. It's kind of like an area to just grab items that aren't necessarily directly related to any one assignment, but more like a lecture video or a helpful link or what have you. I know that's where you go to get the software links as well. So in about 8 or 10 minutes here, maybe tops, I'm going to take you through a part that you might have already drawn. I think it's either homework 2 or in class 2, and I'm really not concerned about anything other than showing you quickly, again, this feature manager. So I'm going to draw something out here, and I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to hit the control key down. One of the early decisions I'm going to make is what plane I want to draw on. And I'm always going to be mindful of the origin, that orange dot in the middle. Always build off of the origin. Always pick a plane early. Make a simple sketch. Extrude that into 3-dimensional content. And then you can start associating to that 3-dimensional content if you desire. So I'm going to pick the front plane in this case. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to lay, next one over. I'm going to lay that flat called normal 2 right there. And then I can work with a little bit easier. And I'm just going to sketch a corner rectangle. I'm going to do that starting from the origin and extend out. I really don't care about numbers right now, but I'll just make this 100 by 65, right? So now I got a fully defined sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude that. Maybe different than some of you might have done an assignment here. I'm going to extrude that, give it a distance of like say 2 millimeters. And I'm going to use the end condition up here called blind right there, and I'm going to just hit OK. So I right now have a object that has a top, a bottom, a left, a right, a front, and a back. 6 primary views, and it has a sketch associated to it. If I click on this down arrow and I right click on this sketch, I can go back into the sketch I used on that plane and edit it. I can right click on the extrude at any time, and I can change its length, its distance that it was extruded, its end condition. All very editable, like very easy to change things. So the next thing I'm going to go to is I'm just going to cut a corner off of this, and I'm going to put a hole in it and maybe a notch. So I'm going to end up with like 3 or 4 different features because of the ability for this thing to be very associative. So first off, let me start by just sketching a rectangle. Now notice I'm going to probably leave some of this sketch blue and only to find those things that I need to. If this is supposed to be centered, let me smart dimension the size of the notch first. And let's just say that's supposed to be 15. Okay, and then let me sketch or dimension here. Let me make that 25. And then I could have used probably another condition, and that's 25 as well. How lucky could I have gotten there? Fully defined as far as what I need, but maybe there's a distance from here to here, and that's supposed to be like, say, 30, right? And I'm just making these numbers up just to see. You have fully defined notch. You don't really care about this because, because of this line, because here it's just kind of cutting air. So who cares? I can leave that. Could you associate it to this line? Yes, you could. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit an extrude cut. I'm going to change my end condition to through all. So no matter what I do to this thing, if I make it thicker later on, it'll always cut all the way through it. So there it is, a second feature. You could name that feature notch if you wanted. That notch has a sketch associated to it. Right here has dimensions that define where it's located. And you are 100% rolling. Next thing I told you is I was going to do a triangular cut over here. Of course, I could pick the surface. I could sketch a triangle there, and I could use that to cut. But what about fillet or chamfer? So let me go ahead and zoom in on this edge and pick that edge. And then let me go up to chamfer. And voila, I am going to chamfer this out. I'm going to make it even a bigger chamfer or what have you. I can change it from, instead of 45s, I could change the angles. I could change the type. But I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like this. And maybe that's starting to look like an assignment I might have given you. Okay. Now I have, if I close this up, I have two features and a chamfer. I can scroll this back with my hand. I can lift this up and I can show you the first thing that was done, the second thing that was done, and the third thing that was done. Okay. Pretty darn cool piece of software because its ability to be associative and completely manipulative. You know, like you can change things anytime you want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this front surface. I'm going to click on sketch. I'm going to click on circle, and I'm just going to pop a circle in here, a drill hole, if you will. I'm going to dimension it so we know what size it is. I'm going to make that 10. That's pretty small, but that's okay. And then I'm going to add a couple of dimensions here. So smart dimension from the center to this edge, make that 40, and then from here to here, oh, that's not right. I need a vertical, so from here to here, and let's make that 30. And now we've got a fully defined drill hole, right? And I could go ahead and extrude cut it, change that to through all, and away we go, and we've got a part done. Now the neat thing about this is you're learning the feature manager on the left hand side. You're learning how to break things down into simpler things instead of in a complex sketch, and hopefully you're learning that this is truly a three-dimensional object right now that can be changed at any time. But it has a lot of properties. So for example, if I go over material is not specified, but if I right click here and go to edit material, and I change this and apply a material, let's just say aluminum, let's just say 1060 aluminum, and I hit apply, this part has just taken on all of the characteristics of a object that is made out of 1060 aluminum alloy. If I go under evaluate right now, and I go to mass properties, I can look and I can see that the mass is exactly 566.5 grams. I can tell you the center of mass based on where the origin is. I can tell you the surface area, the volume, the density, all kinds of information that I can glean from this part, which is pretty darn powerful. In fact, we are trying to prepare you to take part 1 and part 2 of the CSWA exam, the academic exam that proves your ability inside this piece of software at a pretty good, solid, concrete level. And this is how they test you. So you will be asked to build a part, kind of like this, might be a little harder, a little easier, whatever. You'll break it down into simple pieces. You'll make sure it's all fully defined based on print reading and looking at the assignment they gave you or the test question they gave you. And as long as you get everything accurate and you go and apply the proper material and you look at the mass, the question's going to be A, B, C, or D, and one of those is going to be 566.5 grams. And you hit OK, you answer the first question right. They'll ask you to change a couple things, maybe change the hole size, maybe change the chamfer, maybe change that cut, that notch, if you will. What's the mass now? And then you'll fill the mass in. Then you'll be asked to make a second part, and you'll be asked to put an assembly together, and away you go. So I hope you're getting some confidence in the software. You need to email me if you have questions. You need to make sure that you're watching deadlines on assignments. So they do have times that you need to turn things in, so we know you're on track. And you need to be thinking about that proposal. Most of the points for getting a good grade in this course are on that proposal or on that project. So think about that proposal. Make this assembly and these parts something that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, that have value beyond school for you. Downstream, maybe you could show, prospective customer, a prospective employer, or a place that you might want to get an apprenticeship or a co-op or what have you. You can say, hey, this is something I did when I was, at UWGB in an introductory solid modeling course. Here's what I know with regards to SolidWorks, and it's a great thing for you to have. Reach out if you have questions. Email me. You have my phone number as well. You could text me. Make sure that you're staying on task, and expect to see some videos from week to week that are bringing you in with a couple extra hints and so forth. Know that you can reach out online and find a lot of help out there as well for nearly everything with regards to SolidWorks. Don't be afraid to use that. That is a powerful tool for you. All right. Hope all is well. Take care. Goodbye.